Hey, what's up guys, welcome to FindGap, and in today's video we are going to teach you the useRef hook in React.js. We will teach you in detail, so tight your seat belt. Without any delay, let's start. So first of all, let's just talk about what is useRef hook. UseRef is a hook that returns a mutable object with a .current property. So it means when you will create a variable, the useRef hook will return you an object which will contain a property named current. We will learn this more about this in practical. This object persists across renders, meaning its value will not be reset when the component re-renders. You know that when we create simple variables in our components, and when our that specific component re-renders, the value in those variables get lost. But in case of useRef, it do not. So it have many advantages due to its this property. Unlike state updating, a ref's .current value does not cause the component to re-render. When you create a variable using useState, you know when your state will be updated, your component will be re-rendered. But in case of useRef, your component will be not re-rendered when the value of your useRef will be changed. So this was its definition. Now let's move toward the practical. We are again on our VS Studio Code. Inside this, first of all, I will import useRef from React. Same as useState and useEffect, you have to import this from React. And now here, I will declare a variable like count. You can give any name to this variable. This is up to you. Now we have to type our hook name, which is useRef. Inside this, we have to pass the default value. So for example, I am passing 0. And similarly, I have to type here useEffect. Make sure to import this from React as well. And inside this, so we will use this to check either our component re-renders or not. So let me type here console.log and console.log component is re-rendered. I will press semicolon here. Make sure to put arrow because we will pass an arrow function as an argument in our useEffect hook. So now here what I will do, I will create a button here and I'm going to name this increment, and here I will give style to this like background color orange, border 1 pixel, solid black. So this was a little bit styling to our button. So let me show you. So this is how our button is currently looking. Let me type here padding 20 pixel as well. So friends, you can see that this is our simple button, and on the right side I have opened the console of our application. Let me delete this. I will also zoom this so you can see it correctly. And now we have to set an OnClick listener for our button. So let me type here another attribute which is OnClick. Here we need to pass our function name like handle button click. So this function will be called when user will click on the increment button. We have to create this button here like const handle button click is equal to, and I'm going to assign an arrow function here. First of all, let me type here. Okay, now inside this button click we will increment our useRef variable. So let me type here count. You have to type here count.current is equal to count.current plus 1. So as I already told you when I was telling you the definition, that useRef will provide you an object. So let me give you an example like this current and 0 for example, or empty. So we have assigned a default value to 0, so it will return us this object. So each time it means now the count is not a variable, it contains an object. So if we want to update the value of our object which is current, so we will type here count.current is equal to count.current. So it was the previous value which was 0 and we are incrementing it by 1. So now let me type here console.log counter value is, and here let me type here count.current. Let me press semicolon here. So this useEffect callback function will be called when our component will be re-rendered, and this function will be called when user will click on the button. So now let me refresh our website, so you can see that component is re-rendered, and our component is re-rendered 2 times. But now if I click on increment, you can see that our component do not re-render, but the value of our counter is updated. Again, let me type here some again and again and again. You can see that our counter value has been become 6, but our component do not re-render. So it means once the value of our useRef variables will be changed, our component will be not re-rendered. So in when you use use state, so whenever your state will be updated, your component will be re-rendered. The second most common use of useRef is to get a reference to a DOM element, like an input or a button, to directly manipulate it. It means you do not now need to get element by ID or querying to get DOM elements. You can use the useRef to get the DOM elements. Let me show you how we can do that. So first of all, let me remove everything that we have created inside this. I will also remove this. I will also remove this and use effect as well. So this is our simple app component at the moment. What I'm going to do, let me type here const input ref. Again, you can give any name to this variable, is equal to useRef. Let me give default value to null, and now inside this we will create an input of type text. Here you need to type ref is equal to input ref. So you can see that we have created a variable using useRef hook, and we have give reference to this variable our this input element. So now it means using input ref dot current, I can put operations on it, like changing the focus to our input, or maybe changing a background color, or maybe getting the value of our input, and whatever operations you want to put on this input. So let me show you with an example. First of all, I will create a button here. Inside this button, let me type here focus. Okay, and now I will set an on-click listener to this. I'm going to name this function focus input. Same, we need to create a function inside our app. So I will type here const focus input. So we have created a function here, and now once user will click on this button, this function will be called, and once this function will be called, I will type here input ref dot current dot focus. So now let me refresh. Also let me give a placeholder to this so you can realize that what is our input. Enter your name. Okay, so this is our input and this is our simple button. Obviously we are not going to style this. Let me click on it so you can see that our focus is moved to our on input. Let me add one more style. For example, I want to also change the background color for this. So I will again type here input ref dot current dot style dot background color. Make sure to use camel case for background color, because you already know how to give style using JavaScript. So I will type here red semicolon. So now let me refresh, and once I will click on it, you can see that we are performing operations on our input. Once our focus is moved on it, and the background color to our input is also changed. So friends, this was our tutorial. Let me summarize the key characteristics of useRef. The first characteristic is it does not cause a re-render. It means once your input dot current state will be updated, your component will be not re-rendered. And the second characteristic is holds persistent values across renders. It means once your component will be re-rendered, its value will not be lost. So this is very beneficial. You can create custom hooks to manage previous states. Obviously this is up to you, but once your component will be re-rendered, the value of useRef variable will not be changed. And the third characteristic is it can store any values. You can use useRef not just to store DOM elements, but any values like numbers, objects and functions, etc. So this is up to you that what you want to save in this variable. And the last characteristic is initial value. The initial value, like we have assigned null right now, will be assigned to current object key, like as I already told you that the useRef return current. So whatever default value you will assign while using use state hook, that value will be assigned to your current key inside the returned object by this useRef hook. So friends, these was the key characteristics. I hope that this video will be helpful for you. If you have any question, you can ask us in the comment section. We will try to answer your question. And we have uploaded a lot of other tutorials on our YouTube channel about React. If you want to learn, you can visit our YouTube channel. And finally, thanks for watching.